Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody. I am joined alongside my good friend and co-host, Tony Cepeda. Happy Tuesday. Not a good Tuesday to be part of the Chicago Bears organization as they got in a little trouble with the NFL today. Nothing but hopefully a slap on the wrist, but Matt Eberflus is pushing the envelope already, much more than Matt Nagy ever did. Just wanted to throw a shot out there. But now that it was going to be a day of OTAs at Hallis Hall, and just to give a full disclaimer of what happened before we get into our episode, is that, Tony, you want to hit on it a little bit more about what happened at Hallis Hall today?
Yeah, so the Bear, just one of those funny little stories that almost makes us feel like we're the Jets. The Bears had to cancel practice today, June 7th to be exact, recording on a Tuesday. It happened on Tuesday due to doing basically contact drills or something, just doing contact in practice last month during OTAs. So it's a big no-no in the NFL's eyes, the NFLPA as well. That's in the collective bargaining agreement and all that. Either way, it's the wussification of the NFL. And I kind of like that we're the bad boys of football at this point. That's just me. Maybe people think having a practice is more important, but I like it. I think it's kind of fun.
I'm all about player safety, and it's not like they were full out. At least it's not reported that they were like full out mauling each other. Like they were literally like maybe like a small tackling drill or something. Yeah. Still a big no because they want player protection. But hey, at least the OT, it was just an OTA as of right now, but it could lead to a fine later on.
Yeah, and as long as like the players weren't like, oh my gosh, like we weren't ready, we weren't prepared yet, like we weren't, fully ramped up, and if they had the issue with it, that's a different story. If it truly is a nitpicking, like, oh, there was a little pad popping, that's where it's like, all right, well, what are we doing here? But I get it, I guess, overall.
And they resume OTAs tomorrow. They just had to wipe today's practice. As of right now, there still is practice tomorrow. That will be open to the media. So more to come on that. I'm sure a lot of questions. So we'll be covering that tomorrow for you guys. Stay tuned to that. But today we are going over our pre-training camp review of the Chicago Bears different groups. We've done the offensive line and the wide receivers. Make sure that you guys go and watch those episodes. But today we are hitting on the running backs. David Montgomery leads the way and is looking to break over 1,000 yards this year behind a new offensive line, a new play caller, Luke Getsy, and how the Bears arguably have one of the best running back groups in the NFL. We're here to say why, because we just said it and we're not backing down on that. So before we begin, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Stupid Car Tray. Tired of your pizza topping sliding, office coffee distracting you while driving, grease and other stains getting on your seat, or you're just enjoying a game on the couch and don't want to lean over? Look no further than the Stupid Car Tray. Visit www.stupidcartray.com and use discount code J16 to get 16% off your entire order. Link in the description.
And now Stupid Car Tray has cup and mug holders. You can never have too many cup holders in your car, and Stupid Car Tray's products allow you to be able to place Slurpees, hydro flasks, Yetis, and more to be safe and secure during your ride. Use code, it's a new code, so pay attention, 16JAY, 16JAY at checkout to get 16% off your entire order. I literally had a mug in my car today because it was just easier, and it didn't fit, and that's why I'm definitely going to make sure I upgrade to the new model, as they say. So speaking of upgrading to potential new models or not, want to hit on the running back groups, Nick?
I do, because this group really honestly didn't have to upgrade much in order to be one of the best in the NFL. David Montgomery's been a top 10 back over the last 2 seasons. I don't care what you say. I hope the Packer fan is watching this and they're just sitting there in the back corner thinking about, oh, Aaron Jones is better. No, he's not. Shut up. So we're going to talk about the group today, and we have 5 running backs currently on the roster, 3 of them new, 2 of them being rookies. We have number 1, David Montgomery, 5'11", 224 pounds, still a big guy. It's very big guy, 25 years old. Khalil Herbert, 5'9", 212 at 24 years old. Trestan Ebner, 5'11", 206, 23 years old, rookie from Baylor. Darrynton Evans, 5'10", 203, 23 years old, new from the Tennessee Titans. And Tuggle, 5'8", 206, 23 years old, undrafted rookie free agent from Ohio. 5 total guys, young, and younger. If you look at that list, no one's older than 25 years old. Tony and I are actually older than any guy on the active roster in this group, which is kind of crazy to say because now we're at the point where our friends could be playing in the NFL. Fortunately, Tony, at least Tony, I don't know if you have any friends in the NFL. I think all the Bears are our friends, so that's okay.
Absolutely.
But David Montgomery, Khalil Herbert, honestly, could be a huge 1-2 punch, not only this upcoming season, but for the future, and could be a potentially top 5 unit in the NFL moving forward. So, Tony, little things that you're going to see in training camp before we get into a little bit more about the players.
Yeah, so you're going to see a lot of dual packages and outside runs coming up, not just in training camp and preseason, but hopefully throughout the year. It was said a few weeks ago, but Luke Getsy is going to be aggressive with our running backs due to their talent and experience, which we're going to hit on the individual things a little more as we go along here. But overall, all these guys they're kind of tanks. Like they're not, no Darren Sproles out there necessarily. They're all above 200 pounds, but they're also under 6 feet. So they're just stocky and mean. And if, I know our fans have watched David Montgomery run, so I know you guys know exactly what we're talking about. That's what we're going to be dealing with this year. And I'm super excited for that. That's just run the damn ball, Bears football right there.
And I love it because at camp, camp is next week at House Hall, which is exciting to see because this is the opportunity for David Montgomery to show he's a leader. He's entering the last year of his rookie contract, which is crazy to say, but a lot of guys are below him and he's still only 25 years old, but he's very experienced in the NFL, 3rd round pick out of Iowa State, the other ISU, the worst ISU, in my opinion, go Redbirds, but he's going to want everyone to get to his level of ability and make the running back room even better. I mean, he has been carrying the load the last couple of years and he's had help. There's no doubt about it. You had a couple guys over the last couple seasons that have done well behind David Montgomery, but this is the David Montgomery show now. So I'm very excited for him in order to keep moving forward and keep getting better. But also, like Tony was saying, you're going to see a lot of outside runs. And I put a lot of exclamation points after, so I had to act more excited. So outside runs, we're going to see a lot of those this upcoming season because noted last month, the Bears are going to be more aggressive. Thanks to Luke Getsy. God, I love this guy. Good guy, Luke Getsy. If I ever see him ever, I want to just give him a hug because he's just made the offense better and we haven't even had a snap yet. So Luke Getsy also likes the offensive line that Ryan Poles has put together for his offense, and he feels confident in Tevin Jenkins and Larry Borum, or Braxton Jones is rumored also could be a tackle potential for the other side of the ball. I really think Larry Borum's going to get it because he's just more experienced, bigger player. But look out for that. Outside runs are big thanks to our improvement at tackle and overall the offense. God, I'm just so excited for this season. Khalil Herbert also will be more confident in this offense, and you'll see him in a lot of play action. That's a big reason why he was drafted out of Virginia Tech last season. And we saw it last year too, that a lot of play action, a lot of, passes to Khalil Herbert, and he's able to rip it up and go. He is also an absolute tank. I just want to put that out there. I mean, he is stocky. He's muscle. Like he just bulldozes over guys. He bullies players, and he has great hands, quick acceleration, and is not easy to take down. And I'm not saying that about David Montgomery because David Montgomery is proven with that. But when you can have a guy come in against rotated defensive backs and see that the second stringers are out there and still have as much as a problem as your starting running back, that is a huge problem for everyone that goes against the Bears offense. Again, there's going to be growing pains. There's no doubt about it, but I feel very good about Khalil Herbert. And then just one more thing quickly you'll see at camp is Trestan Ebner, the rookie out of Baylor, looks to be a favorite TAs for Justin Fields. So, we kept Jesse James last year, just putting that out there, favorite target. Justin Fields is feeling the same way so far. He very well could make this roster as the 3rd running back, but he'll have to fight for it. And I'm not saying that he can't make the practice squad because you have to go against a veteran in Darrynton Evans, but it's going to be a little bit of a competition. You're going to see that as well.
Yeah. So that was a great point on just kind of like the overall, their strengths. So I thought we could kind of hit on maybe the reason real quick of why they they could not succeed or why they haven't succeeded in the past. And hopefully this changes going forward, but obviously we can only go off of what we've already seen. So this group of backs, like you said, I truly think they are and they can be one of the best in the NFL. So we were kind of writing up notes on this. Nick brought up specifically like what can our backs and what can our running backs improve on? And I was thinking about it hard, and there truly isn't any like one thing that stands out as a major concern from like a fundamental standpoint. Now that issue may be that the mistakes were covered up by Myles Garrett blowing up the play before the ball's even handed off, for example. And maybe I'm concussed, speaking of that Cleveland game. and purposely blocking bad memories of like Monty's mistakes, Khalil Herbert's mistakes. But it truly feels as simple as, when the offensive line holds their blocks, Monty can make big plays happen. Khalil Herbert as well, and it seems like Ebner is on the track on that track as well, where if he can get open space, he can definitely make big plays happen. At the very least, if we can get to the line of scrimmage from a handoff, just got to get to the line of scrimmage with Monty's legs just continuing to move at all times. We've seen it over and over and over. He will fall forward. Even when he gets hit in the backfield, he technically gains a yard from the spot where he was handed off, although he loses 2 yards. So it feels like almost every poor run wasn't necessarily due to lack of execution. Not that Montgomery missed a hole. Obviously, I'm sure there's some examples I may have missed, but it felt like it was both the blocking schemes, which was a Nagy thing, and past offensive coordinator, specifically that Cleveland game.
I just have to also put out there, we always have to apologize to Ron whenever we mention Nagy, because he loves to call us out. So we have to state the obvious, Ron. We're sorry. We're just putting that out there. But
we haven't seen a season in 5 years without Matt Nagy yet. It is what it is. I don't know. I do apologize to that as well, but we had,
Which, did you see his press conference with the Kansas City Chiefs about when they asked how they feel, how Nagy feels about coming back to Kansas City after being a head coach and becoming a quarterbacks coach? Did you see his reaction?
I don't believe I did. No.
It was 4 minutes of him just kind of beating around the push that everything was on the table. And it was so pathetic. And you're just like watching it like, why did we deal with this guy as long as we did? I mean, he won Coach of the Year because of Vic Fangio. I'm just putting that out there. And also, shout out to Mitch Trubisky for leading the Bears to the playoffs twice in Matt Nagy's offense. Just want to put that out there. But, Tony, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Please continue.
No, you're fine. This is the last little comment I had here. We can move on to our lineups. But it felt like, so it didn't feel like it was necessarily the past few years have been due to lack of execution in the backfield. It felt like it was more on blocking schemes from he who shall not be named or missed assignments, which resulted in first contact taking place 3 yards in the backfield. Like I said,
Agreed.
Well, Fields or Trubisky in the past was, still had the ball turned to the line, handed it off. So that's just my opinion. I think we'll see. I think we'll have a better idea going forward if there are improvements that these guys need to make from an execution standpoint.
And like the offensive line is going to be a huge factor in these guys' success. I mean, these guys can't do anything without blocking. So, you have the third easiest schedule in the NFL coming up this season. There's no doubt about that. But you also have to consider, okay, Tevin Jenkins has to make that leap. And he has been making that leap. He looks a lot better. He looks a lot healthier. His back is good to go. Larry Borum has to make that impact. Lucas Patrick has to do it. And I'm just putting this out there. Please go look at our Instagram, because I think that the Bears Gala, there was a hint dropped of what the offensive line is going to look like. Larry Borum was not in the picture, just putting that out there. But Tevin Jenkins was at the position of right tackle. Cody Whitehair was at the position of right guard. Sam Mustipher was at the center position behind Virginia McCaskey. And then Lucas Patrick was at left guard. So I was like, God damn it. Like, we brought in the third best run blocking center in the NFL, and we're going to put him at guard. Still nothing wrong with that. I trust Ryan Poles. Larry Borum wasn't in the picture. But it felt like they were kind of hinting, like, we're figuring things out. Here it is. And I like that they put Justin Fields next to Virginia McCaskey. That was cool. So just putting that out there, but the success is really going to fall on the offensive line. Make sure you go and watch that episode, but make sure you go to our Instagram too and check out the picture, because it's kind of like, all right, like, not trying to, go down a rabbit hole, but they're dropping hints. So
as people who have we do social media stuff. We're obviously not the PR team for the Chicago Bears. Everything you see online, if you're online enough, if you're on Instagram, on Twitter enough, you know that there are very few instances where the PR teams, before they put anything out, these guys, especially for these major organizations, very few times is it, oops, we totally didn't think of that. It's totally a coincidence. Everything is, not everything. Many things are subliminal. So that is interesting. It may be nothing, but it could be something.
It may be nothing. But let's go into how the lineup is going to go for the running backs this year. I think it's pretty obvious from how we're talking. So running back one, Tony and I have the same exact list. So please, Tony, jump in with any comments at the end if you have anything. But we're just going to run through it real quick. Running back one is going to be David Montgomery. He's ready to take the league by storm. He's already a top 10 back the last 2 seasons, and that was with a horrible playbook. Now with Getsy, the sky is the absolute limit for David Montgomery, and it's a contract year. So I hope that the Bears re-sign him. I know Tony probably feels the same as well. But, going to running back 2, Khalil Herbert, also another obvious one. He's looking to make a huge jump in year 2. And I think Luke Getsy is going to make him a serious problem. I mean, especially with the play action and the type of player that he is. And Monty also is going to continue to mentor him, even though they're not that far apart in age. You're going to go running back 3. And I really think that Trestan Ebner is going to win this position at running back 3. I think he has a lot of heart and wants to make this roster very bad. He's already working with Justin Fields. The relationship is there, and that's always a positive. And then Darrynton Evans, I like the signing. I see why they did it. I could see him being more of a special teams guy to start. He is fast. I got to put that out there. He is fast. Could see him being a good blocker on kick returns, if not being a kick return guy. So stay tuned for that. But if they put him in play, they put him in play. He's going to play for that running back 3 position. And then Tuggle out of Ohio. I know we really didn't hit on him that much. He's probably going to be a practice squad player, which is fine. Hey, you're still in the NFL. You still are doing well for yourself, and you still can make a name for yourself if you get the opportunity. So, Tony, any call outs before we close out on the running back order that we selected?
Yeah, I'll do a quick little rundown. Monty, I think he could be the best running back in the league, at least top 3, even just because of his work ethic. I truly think that means more than, anything in the league. Khalil Herbert, an expanded role would be great. Nagy refused to use him and Monty in the same game, which was disgusting. Be like not using Steph and Clay together because they both shoot the ball. You can never have too many weapons. It just didn't make sense. Obviously, that wasn't a great comparison, but you get the point. Ebner, the scat back, in my opinion, is a very underutilized player in the NFL. When it's used effectively, it creates monster mismatches with defensive ends that may have coverage assignments or bigger, slower linebackers. I'm excited to see the different ways that Getsy potentially, spreads out the defense with a player like this. Evans, I do think you're right. He'll be competing. I think he's right now just kind of an extra body, probably a special teamer, kickoff, maybe be the first guy down there making a hit, and potentially kick return. And then Tuggle, practice squad, maybe special teams. Maybe he's just a hard-nosed worker, maybe a good
he looks like he's a beast. I will
guy.
say that.
Yeah, maybe he's a good punt coverage guy. We'll see. So, yeah, that's. I think we covered. I think we know the lineup for the most part. The top 2 guys, which is important.
Training camps could be a lot of fun with this group. You're going to see a lot of good plays. They're not going to give it all out on the media. At least they're going to, because you don't want to give all your tricks away. But I think there's a lot of good coming out of this group. So the next group that we'll be hitting on for the Chicago Bears, and by the way, the last group is going to be quarterbacks. That one's pretty easy. But we're going to go over tight ends tomorrow. So stay tuned for that and any other OTA news that may come out, especially with this whole situation with the NFL. So stay tuned for that. Tony and Nick will be talking about the recent Bulls rumor news. So if you're a Bulls fan, stay tuned for that. And make sure to follow us on all of our social as we are doing giveaways again. We just gave away a DeMar DeRozan autograph. So shout out to the winner of that. And we are very excited for more. But with that, thank you very much for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody, joined alongside my good friend and co-host, Tony Sapita, and we'll see you guys next time.